Hi, and welcome everybody to another edition of the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast right here on the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel, brought to you by our sponsor site, gamblersworld.net, where you'll find 10 of the finest handicappers in all the country and world, for that matter. And that includes us three, myself, Ross Benjamin, and my esteemed guest, Mr. Jesse Schule and Mr. Sean Higgs, all three of us, again, of gamblersworld.net, where we guarantee our picks, folks. And if you don't win, you don't make a profit on any single game, multi-game daily package, or subscription plan of 30 days or fewer. We will credit back your account the exact amount of your purchase price. And, folks, just a friendly reminder, our NBA playoff package for all 10 guys at gamblersworld.net, including us three, 195 will take you through the NBA Finals. Right now, Mr. Higgs is on a 6-0 run in the NBA, and myself and Jesse are number 1 and 2 over the last 30 days at the site in the NBA, which encompasses all of the NBA postseason. So a lot of good things happening right there. Jesse, how are you?
I'm doing all right, Ross. A bit of a rough night with the picks last night. We saw a 14-1 top play run turn into a 14-2 run, and an 11-1 totals run turn into an 11-2 run. But you got to lose once in a while just so you feel human again.
Yeah, I mean, it's still that's a tremendous run you're on right now, and so I mean, hey, you bounce back after a loss, resiliency. That's what's kept us, all three of us, in this business for as long as we have. Mr. Higgs. 6-0 run in the NBA, my man. It's
NBA's on track. Baseball, I'm losing day yesterday. I'm back to 500 in baseball, which isn't terrible, but that's where I should be making a little money. I just can't get my dogs to come in. I don't know. In hockey, a little slump in my hockey. The unders are not cashing. So, I mean, you've watched the show enough. You know that we kind of go defense wins championships kind of stuff, and playoff basketball, playoff football, playoff hockey, whatever the case may be. I'm thinking unders, and I can't get an under. I can't. Yeah. I think out of like my last 10 or 11 losses, 9 of them have been unders on the ice.
It's inordinate amount of under or overs we've seen.
Oh my goodness!
In the first round of the NHL playoffs. Jesse, you could speak to that as well if you want to chime in on that topic.
Ugh.
Well, and then the one game that does go under last night was Vancouver and Nashville, and they got the two worst goaltenders in the playoffs. The Canucks are on their third string netminder right now, and that game is the one that goes under. You know, I used to do quite well with hockey, and I'm still number 1 on the site with hockey at gamblersworld.net, but I don't feel as comfortable betting playoff hockey as I did, 4 or 5 years ago. The game is less predictable than it used to be, in my opinion. Perhaps that's because my focus is more on the NBA at this time of year. But either way, I do see where Sean's coming from. It's tough out there.
I will say this, based on the history of the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs and what Sean alluded to, when you see a cluster of overs like we're seeing right now, eventually that's gonna flip. It'll even out. Maybe not completely, but it will. You'll start to see an influx of unders start to come in. Now, is that a betting strategy? No, it's just my experience, and it goes with any sport. NFL, we've seen a ton of unders come in early on last season, as I recall, and that trend turned, and it was a high degree of overs over a few weeks. So just keep an eye on that, folks. Don't fall in love with going over as a no-brainer in the NHL right now. And that's not to say that you should bet everything under, but just keep that in mind. Guys, I had what I would consider, and I know this sounds greedy, a disappointing 2-1 night last night in the NBA. Why do I say that? Well, for 2 reasons. I was 9-0 going into last night with my NBA picks, 9-0 run, I should say, over a 7-day period, and now I'm 11-1. So I lost my first game. But the way I lost the game, I had the 76ers and Knicks game under the total of 204. It looked like an absolute lock. And then, somehow the Knicks blow a 6-point lead with 25 seconds to go.
Half point 3-pointers don't count as.
Not only 3-pointers, but a 3-pointer and a foul on a 3-pointer. I mean, Maxey scored 7 points by himself in the last 25 seconds of the game.
Unreal.
And then they miss a front end. Brunson misses a free throw in the last minute, and then with a chance to make it a 2-possession game with little time left, Hart misses a free throw as well. So it is what it is, but I'm sure you guys could relate that I'm not talking arrogant or I'm not being greedy when I say to lose a game like that is a little bit of gut-wrenching, but that's the only way they're going to get me right now, Jess. Anyway, let's get right to our games. Anything else you want to discuss? I mean, the Sixers, before we get to those games, the Sixers stay alive, Jesse. And I already pretty much summarized what happened at the end of the game, but how does that affect the Knicks? I mean, they had a chance to close out the series at home. They had a 6-point lead with 28 seconds to go. And they end up going to overtime. They scored the first 5 points in overtime, and then they end up losing the game. And now they have to travel back to Philadelphia. And you know what? The 76ers are going to have momentum. If they win that game, the series is tied 3-3. And like you say, anything can happen in a game 7.
Yeah, but you look at the way Joel Embiid played in that game 5. You look at the fact that Maxey basically was the reincarnation of Michael Jordan. And can the Sixers capture that magic again? Can Maxey play to that level for 2 more games in this series? Embiid scores 1 point in the fourth quarter of game 4 and then comes out and sort of lays an egg in game 5. He probably should have been ejected again. I don't know if you guys saw the flagrant foul on Brunson. Embiid's getting away with an awful lot. Hopefully the media and the commentators and us guys on YouTube will put some pressure on the officials that he shouldn't be getting away with that stuff. I mean, the next time he does that, I'd like to see him get ejected. I will definitely be going under the points total for Embiid. It is 31 and a half, I think I saw this morning. And
yeah, there was a rake across the face that was, it was dangerous. I mean, you could break a guy's nose. You could scratch his eyes out, for crying out loud. I mean, not to that degree, but you guys get what I'm saying. Sean, there was one user or one comment. Let me put it this way. One of our subscribers was chiming in on the comments yesterday, and I finally had to just ban him. He was attacking you, and I think you know who I'm talking about. It starts with a Mr.
Numbers.
Yeah.
Why'd you ban him, Mr. Numbers?
Because he got belligerent.
Oh, all right. What did he put?
Yeah. Listen, the end of and I'm not going to go on and on about this. I did yesterday, and I'm not going to do so again, but he went on and on to tell everybody how good he was and how he should follow him on Twitter. And it's a joke that you have a guy like Sean Higgs on the show that hasn't even watched the Knicks play all year, and he
loves the Knicks. Just
yeah, and
he'll tell you on Twitter he's insane.
Yeah. I actually saw him post a poll on Twitter. Who's the greatest handicapper of all time? Sean Higgs or Dave Koken, he said. And he posted this poll. So he's definitely not a Higgs hater all the time. But,
no, he's not.
Well, that also shows to me.
He's a diehard Knicks fan. He loves the Knicks. He's obviously New York. He likes the Yankees. Yeah. He's all New York. And I'm like, I said on this show, I thought Sixers would win. They were favored to win the series, by the way, as a 7th seed. So, I thought it'd be a 6 or 7 game series. I think I said that the other day. I still thought it would maybe go 6.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's funny. He talks about himself in the third person, and he always tweets out he does the Dodgers plate 3.5 batters first inning. I think it's 26-3 on the year. He's like, you're losing money. I'm like, I'm not laying 280 on a prop. I'm just not doing it. But I mean, I'm sure he puts crazy stuff. He puts it on my channel. I get it. I understand.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, with all due respect, Sean, the comment section, I want to keep it where it's not toxic. And I don't consider it being toxic if you disagree with our picks or you you chime in and tease us about what happened yesterday, or you have a difference of opinion, not only on a pick, but our logic in which we arrived at the pick. I have no problem with all of that. Okay. I mean, look, it comes with the territory. You're entitled to your opinion. But when you start coming in and trying to promote yourself on our YouTube channel, okay, that has an established audience, it's just unethical and unprofessional. I'm sorry.
He'd come in on my YouTube, and
Yeah.
again, he comments all the time on the videos. Jesse will tell you.
Yeah.
And not even after the fact. He'll watch your whole show afterwards and watch it and comment it as the show goes on.
Yeah.
Good, bad, or indifferent. Then he, like, midway through football, he's like, I'm having a good run. He wanted to challenge me in NFL. And I said, sure. Yeah, and I beat him, whatever he got, but I don't mind that. And his whole thing.
Well,
is
I mean, not for nothing.
You ever watch the Knicks play? I don't have to watch the Knicks play.
Use your head, Sean. He's got everything to gain, and you got everything to lose with those types of challenges.
Did you see the other comment about Sean's analysis of the Porzingis injury?
Yeah, and you saw what my response was, right?
Well, there's been an update there. Porzingis is out long term, and I put a comment in there that I've actually got an assessment from a doctor saying that he speculates it's an actual Achilles. So, Sean, it sounds like you were bang on, and the guy criticizing you was way off.
Even if Sean's assessment was right, he wasn't definitive when he said that. You know what I mean?
No.
He said it's probably a tear, looks like a tear, but he wasn't like it's definitely a tear, where you're reporting something that's absolutely false. So, sometimes people try to put words in our mouth.
Listen, that guy's a Celtic fan. He's upset. Let's be honest. You're coming in on comment of that. You're a Celtic fan, and you're upset.
Well, but I mean, in terms of, I get that, and I appreciate your passion for your team and your frustration with that injury occurring. But when you start trying to say that we're falsifying information or we're spreading rumors that aren't true, that's not the case. He was not definitive when he said, I think it's a tear the way it looked. Okay.
Turns out Sean's a medical savant. He was bang on with his assessment.
That's it. I'm on Twitter. I got a medical degree, geopolitical theater, food, whatever you need. All
right, we're wasting way too much on this, but I will say that to that gentleman that you go back and forth with, and I'm not willing to tolerate on our comment section on our channel, that if you think you're so good, start your own YouTube channel, because you're trying to promote yourself on somebody else's. Start your own. I'll be more than supportive of you. If you think you're that good and you can get on camera and articulate why you like a game and develop a following, and then get on a website or two and get yourself monitored by an independent source, I'll give you all the credit in the world. But I would not come on your YouTube channel if you did that and promote myself. It's just unethical. Anyway, all right, let's get to the games. Sean, I know you're winding up to say something else. I don't want to cut you off.
We were talking about the Sixer game, and I thought the Sixers looked dead after the last game.
Yeah.
They looked kind of like blasé. And, they pulled out the miracle win here. But 2 games ago, they choked away a game the same exact way here. So those kind of bounce out. That's betting right there. The Knicks fans could be up in arms, but remember that you got a gift win 2 to 3 days ago too, in the same fashion. And Maxey, by the way, 2 awesome games in New York.
Unbelievable.
The crazy thing is he shoots worse at home. He's been tearing it up in this series. I thought this game would go 6 or 7 in the series. I'm still kind of, obviously it's going 6. I will not be shocked if Maxey comes out. I mean, he's playing better than Embiid right now. Obviously, Embiid is good for the first quarter. He comes out strong, and then he kind of fades late. But
a lot of that it has to do with his physical status right now. And they said it on the broadcast last night that they pulled him with about 8 minutes to go because they found that he faded down the stretch in game 4.
And listen, if Maxey's going to play like you did, you'll take that. You'll take us. You're going to wait for this guy.
The last 3 to tie the game, Sean. that had to be at least a 35-footer.
He was like 2 steps. He was 2 steps over a half court. Crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's get to today's games, folks. And again, I know a lot of you are going to say ignore the trolls, but I bring it up because I'm trying to keep our community in a positive manner. And when I say positive, that doesn't mean you can't disagree with us on our picks or opinions, whatever the case may be, but be respectful. And at the end of the day, I don't want it to become a toxic environment because it affects each and every one of you out there that comments in a respectful manner, whether you agree or disagree. So let's get to our games. And Jesse, I'm going to start with you because there's only 2 games tonight. But since you're the prop guru out of us 3, you got a prop in both of the games tonight between Dallas and the Clippers and also Miami and Boston. And take it away, my friend.
All right. Well, we'll start with the Eastern Conference. We got the Heat facing elimination. And I'm going to look at the points, rebounds, and assists for Tyler Hero. The total sits at 31.5. And Hero averaged 20.8 points per game, 5.3 rebounds, 4.5 assists. The math adds up to 30.3 points, rebounds, assists. That was the regular season. This is the playoffs, 17.3 points, 3.8 rebounds, 6 assists. That adds up to 27.1 points, rebounds, assists. And I find that the player prop market is often, the books lean too heavily into season averages and sentiment, whether a guy's coming off a good game or a bad game. Usually coming off a good game, they bump it up a couple points. Coming off a bad game, it drops a point or two. But Hero has failed to reach that number of 31.5 in 3 of 4 games, the one exception being the game where Miami couldn't miss a shot and they actually won in Boston. You look at the Heat's team total, 93. So a projected team total of 93, and you got a guy with an inflated points, rebounds, assist number that's even higher than what he averaged in the regular season. The numbers just add up here, much like I said last night about Franz Wagner. We got schooled on the pronunciation of Wagner as well. But anyways, Hero under 31.5. The math makes sense. Moving on to the Western Conference. I like this one even better. Luka Doncic. The guy is, he's fills the box score. Let's put it that way. Throughout the regular season, he averaged 33.9 points per game, 9.2 rebounds, 9.8 assists. That is 52.9 points, rebounds, and assists. But in the playoffs, 29 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. That's 49. His PRA number, I'm looking at 52.5. And of course, he's gone under in 3 of 4 games in this series. Now he's playing on a sprained knee. And the Mavs team total sits at 104.5. This is a Dallas team that averaged 117.9 points per game during the regular season. So when the Mavericks are scoring 118 points, Luka is averaging 52.9 points, rebounds, assists in regular season games with less intense defense. Now their projected team total 104.5. And he's playing on a sprained knee and taking a backseat to Kyrie in the last few games. I think that 52.5 number looks rather inflated, and we're going to go under Luka, 52.5 PRA.
Makes a lot of sense to me on both ends. Tyler Hero, a very streaky shooter, and you make some good points with Luka, and also the point that I think that needs to be looked at when making this under 52.5 on the PRA is the fact that Kyrie has stepped up and taken on more of a lead role with this, how Luka, I don't want to say struggled, but he's definitely not 100% right now. And he was terrific in that game 4 in which they were down 31 and came back to actually take the lead and just ran out of gas and ended up losing the game. But any thoughts from you, Sean, in that regard?
I like the Miami Tyler Hero because I don't think they're going to score 90 points. I mean, what have you seen out of that squad? But again, I was thinking the same thing yesterday. How don't the Pacers score a bunch of points and they get run out of the building? And now they, if Giannis and these guys come back, they might be in trouble over there. So who knows? It's playoff basketball, but I'll stick with the under there with Jesse on that, and the Maverick one as well. They're talking about that Luka kind of injury there, so that's interesting.
All right, nice job, Jesse. You made the folks understand exactly why.
And here's a quick one to Jesse. We talked about yesterday after the show. He's the Halliburton player prop he mentioned yesterday. We were talking about using, and that cash too. By the way, Jesse, that was not discussed here, but we were discussing it. And another winner for Jesse with his player props. He's fabulous.
I hit 3 yesterday. I had Wagner, Embiid, and Halliburton.
Yeah,
Wagner, yeah, not Wagner.
Wagner.
Yeah, well, yeah. Anyway,
Wagner. It's Wagner in America.
Look, just a friendly reminder, folks, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please take a second to do so. It's absolutely free. There's no strings attached. You're obviously watching because you're interested and have a passion for sports betting. And we bring on some of the best handicappers in the world right here, including us three, Chip Chirimbus, Doug Upstone, and Paul Bovey during football season, and many more. So, I'm sorry?
That's just an echo somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know where that echo came from. I'm sorry. But anyway, hit that subscribe button. If you're on your PC, hit that WC logo in the bottom right-hand corner of your page, and you'll be subscribed, and take an extra second to click on the alert notification bell in your YouTube settings for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. You'll be contacted or notified immediately upon any of our content going up on our great channel. All right, Sean, Clippers in Dallas, really intriguing matchup. Series tied 2-2. Yet, Dallas coming up a home loss, even in a 2-2 series, on the road in Game 5, and we all know how important Game 5 is and the probability of winning a series. If it's 2-2 and you win Game 5, it's just like over 80% probability of winning the series over the course of time. But Dallas 3-point favorite, the total 209. What do you got?
Yeah, and this is a tough series. I thought Dallas would win this one, right? I think we both like kind of Dallas here as a little future to get past the Mavericks or get past Clippers, go to the conference finals here. But I don't know. I'm gonna look at the Clippers team total here, because as we mentioned, or as Jesse was just talking about, Harrow coming back from an injury and his stats, and Luka questionable kind of stuff. Well, we have a guy here, Kawhi, who's out now, and we've seen the Clippers without Kawhi put up 116 and 109 or 108 points without him. He comes in, it slows down to a stick in the mud offense because they want to work a guy back in. He doesn't play, they score points. Now listen, Dallas could easily go off and score a bunch of points here. They have in these games, with the couple low scoring games are with Kawhi on. So maybe it's a combination of different things here. I know the Mavericks, we've talked about it ad nauseum. They made trades. The defense has been better, yada, yada, yada. But push comes to shove here in the playoffs, these two games. What have we seen is the Clippers score without Kawhi. Dallas scores as well. I'm not worried about picking a side, anything like that. I think the Clippers at home are going to get over that 103 mark, so I'm going to go over their team total 103.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, look, Kawhi is a future Hall of Famer. Great player, okay? I watched the Orlando game last night because I needed the Magic plus the points, and they lose by 1 and covered for me. But what bothered me is even though that the kid, Banchero, who was having a great game last night, it just seemed like over the last 3 minutes, they were giving him the ball, and he was just trying to create a situation for himself, and everybody was standing around watching, and there was no movement. And then near the end of the clock, he was either forcing the shot or giving it to somebody, and I've mentioned this time and time again, or giving it to somebody with 3 or 4 seconds left on the clock that was in an unenvious position to get off a quality shot. I hate that. James Harden, I remember when he was with Houston, near the end of his run with Houston, that I used to hate watching those games, even though Harden was a great player and one of the top scorers. Too many times in critical games, the ball would get stuck in his hands for the first 21 seconds of the shot clock, and either had to make a miraculous shot or had to give the ball up for kind of situations I just alluded to. But yeah, I agree with you, Sean. Sometimes players or teams, I should say, just because they lose a star player doesn't mean they're going to become less productive offensively. Because the tendency is if that star player has a surrounding cast, which the Clippers do, a quality surrounding cast, that is, they share the ball and they're just as productive, if not more productive, offensively. Same thing with the New York Knicks with Julius Randle. Anyway, I said a lot there, but Jesse?
Yeah, I agree with Sean. I think this game looks like a coin flip to me. Clippers at home. Clippers have proven they can win without Kawhi. In fact, they're much better without him when he's not 100%. As far as your comments on James Harden, I think, yeah, he used to be brutal in the playoffs, especially, but at this stage in his career, he seems willing to defer.
Yeah.
Paul George is playing great. The Clippers 2-0 without Kawhi, 0-2 with them. Wrong team favored, in my opinion. Why is LA catching 3 points here with Luka banged up a little? I think I didn't bet on this game, but if I had to, I would take the home team.
Yeah, I'm going to reserve comment on this game because I do have a 5-unit top play up right now at gamblersworld.net. It's $49, folks. You're guaranteed. If you don't win, you're going to get your money credited back to your account. But by the same token, it's only $195 for the NBA package. A lot of you have chimed in already. And again, on a nice 11-1 NBA run right now, and above and beyond that, 23-5 with my last 28 in the NBA. So you might want to consider, when I rate a play this high, to really take a hard look at it and possibly purchase it and make some money. But in any event, I'm going to look at the Knicks in the Boston Celtics game tonight. Once again, Boston is a big favorite in this game, -14, and rightfully so, coming off back-to-back blowout wins over Miami on the road, and they really set the table straight because a lot of people were starting to doubt them after that Game 2 loss. But I'm going to concentrate on the total here, which is 200. And I know the easy thing, and I heard Sean say it earlier, is that he can't see Miami scoring 90 points in this game. And, when you look at what's happened over the last 2 games, Miami putting up, I believe, 84 on both occasions in Game 3 and 4. There's a lot of credence to that statement. However, I look at Boston 5-0 to the over at home this year whenever there's a total of 220 or less, and they're facing an opponent that scored 109 or less in the previous game. That's number one. Boston's 5-0 to the over in their last 6 off back-to-back unders, which they are off back-to-back unders in Game 3 and 4. And that includes going 3-0 to the over in their last 3 at home, coming off back-to-back unders. And those 3 games all had a combined 239 or more points scored per contest. Boston 5-0 to the over since last year, off back-to-back covers as a favorite of 9.5 or greater. Boston was a 9.5 point favorite in Game 3. They were a 10.5 point favorite in Game 4. They covered both games. And when that situation has occurred, where they covered as a 9.5 or greater favorite in back-to-back games, they 5-0 to the over with a combined 241.6 points per game. Miami, believe it or not, I have an overtrend on Miami, and the Miami Heat 5-1 to the over in their last 6. Whenever there's a total of 216.5 or less, and they scored 99 or fewer in the previous game. Now, the lone under did happen in Game 4 in that situation. The average total in those 6 games is 207. That takes me to this. The 3-point shooting for Boston and Miami in Games 3 and 4 in Miami was horrible, okay? But both teams continue to put up a plethora of 3-point shot attempts. Now, the first 2 games in Miami, we saw torrid 3-point, or in Boston, I should say, torrid 3-point shooting. The Celtics, 34 out of 81, 42%. Miami, 35 out of 80, 43.8%. Yes, that Miami number is a little bit askew because they made 23 threes in game 2, but they also made 12 in game 1. So I'm looking for the 3-point shooting to be substantially better than we saw in the 2 games in Miami. I continue to see, you're looking at the 2 games in Boston. Both teams averaged over 43-point attempts per game. I see that occurring again. So this is an awful low number. A lot of the games have been going under the total. I am going to say that I'll be in the minority here of going over to 200 in this contest, Jesse, because of what we saw from Miami and how anemic they've been offensively in the last 2 games.
Yeah, well, I just hope that Tyler Hero doesn't get his 31.5. But I don't think you need the Heat to score 100 to get to 200,
No.
thankfully for yourself.
Yeah.
So I could see it getting there for sure.
All right. So short and brief from Jesse. Sean, he's never short and brief, and I'll be shocked if he's short and brief here.
It's like I said, for Miami to score, I'm not looking for a lot. 80, what did we say, 88 and 84 their last 2 games, something ridiculous like that. Now, is the total so over adjusted? But it was 204 before, so I mean 4 points. It hasn't not that much, not that crazy considering that they couldn't even get to 90 the last 2 games. But I agree with you. I think Boston should come out, right? Like Jesse said, getting 200, you don't need a whole lot out of Miami. And I think Boston maybe has something to prove with no Porzingis. And who else is that too? Isn't somebody else banged up for them?
Not
Boston?
that I recall, but if there is,
just Porzingis.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You know what? Boston's depth is very good, above and beyond, even with Porzingis out of line. Look, are they a better team with Porzingis? Absolutely so. Are they more dynamic offensively with Porzingis? Absolutely so, because that's another guy who's capable of putting 20 plus up every game. Again, I'm going to go with Miami and Boston over the total of 200. Sean likes the LA Clippers over their team total of 103. Jesse has 2 props, one in each game. Luka Doncic to go under 52.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined, and Tyler Hero to go under 31.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. So there you have it. There's your free picks for the first day of May, 2024. These guys will be back with me on our live show on Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Not sure about tomorrow because we're not sure if we have enough material to cover tomorrow with 4 Major League Baseball games on the card and all going during the day and limited NBA action. We'll try to come up with something for you tomorrow that's worth your while. But in any event, folks, don't forget to subscribe. And Jesse, the like button is right underneath.
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button, folks. It's a small token of your appreciation for the time, work, and effort we put into bringing you a quality podcast each and every time. And our goal has always been, will continue to be, we want to make you a smarter sports better today than you were yesterday. Until the next time, for Jesse, Schule, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin, take care and God bless, folks.